In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of developing your love map. Now that might sound a little cheesy, but just be patient because this is really good stuff. This is important if you want to have a healthy marriage. And this is based on a book by John Gottman, who's a leading relationship expert out there. And in one of the books he's written is just 7 principles for a healthy marriage or making your marriage work. I'll have the book linked below. But he has some great insights and he's done a ton of research, so he knows what helps marriages be saved, and he also knows the pitfalls that cause marriages to fail. So one of the principles that he has is this idea of developing your love map as a couple. So think about when you guys were dating. I mean, this is the natural time in dating where we're asking tons of questions of each other, right? We want to get to know each other. We want to know the ins and outs of this person, vetting them essentially, right? To decide, is this someone I want to spend my life with? But the desire to develop a love map should not end in our dating years. It should be something that is developing constantly, especially in our marriages, because our spouse is a person with a story, with a history, with experiences that have happened in their life and favorites and things that they love and things that they hate. And as a couple growing in your marriage, you should want to discover that information as an ongoing kind of treasure hunt. And that's what John Gottman's talking about in this whole idea of developing your love map. Here's how Gottman would define a love map. It's where we store up all the important information about our spouse's life. So for example, take that information that you learned in your dating years, but as you get married, to learn about what is their favorite movie, how do they like their meat to be cooked at a steakhouse, what's their favorite dressing on their salad, if they could go anywhere in the world, where would be their favorite vacation spot? What are the things that they dream about and the things they would love to accomplish in their life? These are all just things that you would add to your love map, right? Because the idea of that love map is that's important information that you're seeking from your spouse to get to know them better, to know who they are, what makes them tick, what drives them crazy, and that you're storing that information up in your brain so you can recall that information. And so when you're relating to your spouse, that when you're at a restaurant, isn't it fun when someone knows you well enough that they can say, if you go to the bathroom, they want a Diet Coke with a lemon, right? Instead of coming back and be like, we've been married for 30 years, you still don't know the drink that I want at a restaurant. Just getting to know one another and to develop that and to store up that information and build on that in your marriage that creates then intimacy and connection with one another. Here's the truth. The more you know your spouse, the stronger your relationship, right? I mean, think about that. When you think about the friends in your life, who your best friend is, isn't that the person that knows you the best? And so in a healthy marriage, your spouse should know you better than anyone does in the world. And that doesn't just happen, right? Once you say your vows and you go off on your honeymoon, all of a sudden you guys are just the expert on one another. No, it takes time to develop that, to ask the right questions, to desire to know your spouse, to study them, and to store that information up so that you can show that how much you love your spouse, that you want to know everything there is to know about them. And of course, then how does that make you feel in return, that your spouse wants to know you intimately and wants and cares about even the little details, the things that may not even be that important? It's going to make your relationship stronger. You're going to feel more connected. There's going to be more intimacy. There's going to be more authenticity in your relationship because you really understand one another. Okay, so here's the challenge. Start developing your love map. Maybe you've never really done that as a couple. Maybe you've been married for 20 years and you're like, you know what? I could not answer the question, what's your spouse's favorite movie, right? So it's not too late. You can start developing your love map as a couple. Now, in Gottman's book, he has some great questionnaire questions like you to ask your spouse, but I'll just give you a couple tips. Have a conversation with your spouse. Ask them about childhood memories. Where did they go on vacation? Who are their childhood friends? What was it like growing up in their neighborhood or the part of the country where they lived? Ask, what's your favorite kind of questions, So you could say, what's your favorite book, your favorite movie, or your favorite food, your favorite restaurant, your favorite vacation spot, just asking those kinds of questions. Ask about what are some of those experiences that happened in your life that were really positive and helped to shape you and the person that you've become. And then also, what are some of the things that happened in your life that were hard, that also shaped you, but were difficult and were hard for you? And then, of course, ask about what are your dreams? What do you hope to accomplish? What's on your bucket list? Those are just some great questions to start developing your love map. So you as a couple can feel like you are doing life together, that you know one another, that you love one another, that you care about one another. And that's a great recipe for success for a healthy marriage.